Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today I'm reading Prabhuji. I'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, The Deliverance of Yamala Arjuna Trees, from the text 24. Text 24. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of the words of the great devotee, Narada, slowly went to that spot where the twin Arjuna trees were standing. Text 25. Although these two young men are the sons of the very rich Kuvera, and I have nothing to do with them. Devashri Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee, and therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do for their deliverance. Text 26. Having thus spoken, Krishna soon entered between the two Arjuna trees, and thus the big motor to which he was bound turned crosswise and stuck between them. Text 27. By dragging behind him with a great force and the wooden motor tied to his belly, the boy Krishna uprooted the two trees by the great strength of the Supreme Person. The two trees, with their trunks, leaves, and branches, trembled severely and fell into the ground with a great crash. Text, text 28. Thereafter, in that very place where the two Arjuna trees had fallen, two great perfect personalities who appeared like fire personified came out of the two trees, the effulgence of their beauty illuminating all directions. With the bowed heads, they offered obeisances to Krishna, and with hands folded, they spoke the following words. Text 29. O Lord Krishna, your opulent mm, mysticism is the inconvincible. You are the supreme original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote, and you are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas, known on the basis of the Vedic statement, Sarvam Khalam Idam Brahma, that you are everything and that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form. Text 30 and 31. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of everything, the body, life, ego, and the senses of every living entity are your own self. You are the Supreme Person, Vishnu, the imperishable controller. You are the time factor, the immediate cause, and you are the material nature, consisting of the three modes: passion, goodness, and the ignorance. You are the original cause of this material manifestation. You are the super soul, and therefore you know everything within the core of the heart of every living entity. Text 32. O Lord, you exist before the creation. Therefore, who trapped by a body of the material qualities in this material world can understand you. Text 33. O Lord, whose glories are covered by your own energy. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Sankarshan and the origin of the creation, and you are Vasudeva, the origin of the Chat- Chaturyuta, because you are everything and are therefore the Supreme Brahman. we simply offer our respectable obeisances unto you. Text 34 and 35. So it's still 34, Prabhuji. 43, sorry.
Yeah, until 43.
Text, yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Text 34 to 30, text 34 and 35. Appearing in the bodies like those of an ordinary fish, tortoise, and hawk, you exhibit the activities impossible for for such creations to perform the extraordinary, incomparable, transcendental activities of unlimited power and strength. These bodies of yours, therefore, are not made of the material elements, but are incarnation of your supreme personality. You are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who have now appeared with full potency for the benefit of all the living entities within this material world. Text 36. O Supreme Auspicious, we offered our respectable obeisances unto you, who are the Supreme Good. O most famous, decent, and the controller of the Yadu dynasty, O son of Vasudeva, O most peaceful, let us offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. Text 37. O supreme form, we are always the servants of your servants, especially of Narada Muni. Now give us the permission to leave for our home. It is by the grace and the mercy of Narada Muni that we have been able to see you face to face. Text 38. Henceforward, may all our words describe your pastimes. May our ears engaged in the uh, ocular reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in the action pleasing to you. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our hands offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different forms. And may our eyes see the form of the Vaishnavas who are non different from you. Text 39. Sukadev Goswami continued. The two young demigods thus offered the prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Sri Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, is the master of all and was certainly Gokuleshwara, the master of the Gokula. He was bound to the wooden motor by the ropes of the gopis, and therefore, smiling widely, he spoke to the son of Kuveras the following words. Text 40th. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the great saint Narada Muni is very merciful. By his curse, he showed the greatest favor to both of you, who were mad after the material opulence and who had thus become blind. Although you fell from the higher planet, Swarga, Loka, and became trees, you were most favored by him. I knew of all these incidents from the very beginning. Text 41. When one is face to face with the sun, there is no longer darkness for one's eyes. Similarly, when one is face to face with a sadhu, a devotee who is fully determined and surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one will no longer be subject to the material bondage. Text 42. O Nalakuvera and Manigriva, now you may both return home. Since you desire to be always abandoned in my devotional service, your desire to develop love and affection for me will be fulfilled, and now you will never fall from that platform. Text 43. Sukadev Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having spoken to the two demigods in this way, they circumvented the Lord, who was bounded to the wooden motor, and offered obeisances to him. After taking the permission of Lord Krishna, they returned to their respective homes. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta uh, Canto 10, Chapter 10, entitled The Deliverance of Yamala Arjuna Trace. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Venudas Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radharani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section. Sloka's translation. And thank you all for joining for today's session. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 10, titled The Deliverance of the Yama Arjuna Trees, from Slokas 24 to 43. And thank you, Sundarananda Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share few points from Srila Prabhupada's purpose for my own purification. So I will start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschapta Deshatarane. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are in this beautiful section of Supreme Lord Krishna's Damodar Leela, continuing. We saw in the last chapter how Krishna was bound by Mother Yashoda's love to a wooden grinding motor with a rope. And then Krishna saw these two Yamala Arjuna trees, so who were Kuvera's sons, cursed by Narada Muni, who became trees. And then in this chapter, so far we heard how Parikshit Maharaj asked, so why Narada Muni cursed these sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvera and Manigriva. And then Sukadeva Goswami started narrating the past time where Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they are the sons of Kuvera, who is the treasurer of the heavenly planets, demigods, who is very rich, and due to that great opulence, so they became proud and puffed up, and one day they were enjoying with naked girls in Mandakini river, and at that time Narad Muni passing by, and these girls who were naked, so they covered by themselves with the cloths, but these two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvera and Manigriva, though they saw Narada Muni, but they remained naked, and they are not even ashamed also. And Narada Muni, very mercifully, he thought how he can help these two boys, Nalakuvera and Manigriva. So he thought that the best punishment is to remove their wealth, to make them poverty stricken, so that they can able to understand that this material opulences is temporary. Because if one is very rich, they cannot understand. When they are poor, then they will be able to understand. So he cursed these two sons of Kuvera to become trees, Yamalajuna trees. And also he showered his mercy, saying that they will remember their past sinful activities, and not only that, they will be able to see Krishna face to face. So, so that's why Prabhupada mentions, and in the last sessions also, devotees stressed that the punishment given by Vaishnava is not at all a punishment. It's not externally, it may look like punishment, but it is a kind of a mercy. So we'll continue from 24th sloka today. So in the 24th sloka, we see that Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of the words, so he went to that spot where these two Yamala Arjuna trees were standing. So here we see that how Krishna gives great importance to the words of his devotees. So more than his own words. So we see in the pastime of Kurukshetra war also, am I right? When Bhishma Dev mentions that to Duryodhana that tomorrow either I will kill Pandavas or I will make Krishna to take weapon, like that. So, and Krishna at that time promised that he will not take up a weapon. But now, to keep up his dear devotee Bhishma's words to true, and at the same time to protect his devotees Pandavas, so he was ready to break his own promise and to take up the weapon and charge towards to the Bhishma Dev. So, of course, later Arjuna pleads not to do like that. So we see how importance Krishna gives to the words of the devotees. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells to Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijana name bhakta pranishyati. So he says to Arjuna, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. So because if Krishna declares, there is a possibility that he may break. But if his dear devotee Arjuna declares, then Krishna will definitely fulfill. So similarly here, to make his dear devotee Narada Muni Bhagavata, so to make his words to be true, Satyam, so Krishna is going towards this to Arjuna trees. So similarly, I heard Prabhupada also mentions that he assured that whoever chants this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 rounds and follow four regulative principles, then he will take them to the spiritual world through the back door. So we have this great opportunity. So if we can follow this simple process, then Prabhupada assured, and because Prabhupada gave the word, who is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, and Krishna will fulfill it. So in the next sloka, we see that these two young men sons are very rich. Kuvera's sons, nothing to do with them. So Krishna thought, I have nothing to do with them, but my dear devotee um, wanted, affectionate devotee. Therefore, because he wanted me to come to face, I must to do so for their deliverance. So Krishna decided to deliver these two sons of Kuvera. So in the Damodarashtakam also we sing him, right? Kuveratmajau Bhadda Murteva Yadvat Tvaya Mochitau. So Krishna decided to deliver these two sons of Kuvera. So Mochitau. From the bondage of from the curse of Narada Muni, and also giving the Krishna Prema Bhakti also. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Krishna has nothing to do with these two personalities, Nalakuver and Manigriva. Or it's not that because they are sons of a very rich person, so he has to show his darshan to them. Not like that. It's not impossible. It's not possible because uh, getting darshan of Supreme Lord Krishna is not an ordinary opportunity. So, but in this case, because Narada Muni desired, so Nalakuver and Manigriva to have darshan of the Supreme Lord, so Krishna is fulfilling. So that's why Prabhupada says that if we seek the favor of a devotee instead of directly asking Krishna, then that is easy, and Krishna will definitely fulfill. So that's why Narottam Das Thakur sings, saying that Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payecha Keva. So unless one become a servant of a pure devotee, then one cannot be delivered from this material world. So that should be our aspiration. So take the shelter of the Supreme Lord, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, then it will be easy for us to go back home, back to Godhead. So in the next few slokas, so Krishna speaking like this as he entered between the two Arjuna trees, and he is still tied to this grinding motor, which is very big. Then while he was trying to cross over these two trees, the grinding motor stuck between them, and with great force, so he, he tried dragging that behind them, and with that so he uprooted these two trees, and there is a severely all the trunks and leaves branches trembled severely and fell them to ground with great crash. And Prabhupada mentions that this is the wonderful lila that Supreme Lord Krishna is performing, so in the form of Damodara. So that's why, since he was tied with a rope to his belly to this grinding motor, so he is known as Damodara, because Dama means rope, Udara means belly. So he was tied with the rope of to this grinding motor, so it's known as Damodara, and this Leela is also pastime is also known as Damodara Leela. In the next couple of slokas, now we see that these two Arjuna trees fell down, and these two great perfect personalities they appeared, and then they bowed their heads down and offered obeisance to Krishna, and they started speaking. So here they say that Supreme Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. And they are glorifying Krishna with many wonderful prayers saying that you are the supreme original person, cause of all cause, and you are the beyond the material creation, and they are saying you are everything, uh, that this cosmic manifestation, its gross or subtle aspects. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that uh, we also heard in the previous slokas that Narada Muni showered his mercy, saying that they will remember their past life also. So, because of their continuing memory, now they could able to understand that Supreme Lord Krishna's great opulence by the grace of Narada Muni. So now they admitted that so you are a supreme mystic because you know the past, present, and future. So it's all your plan that we be cursed by Narada Muni. Of course, it's blessings of Narada Muni. So that's your plan. So that's why you know everything, the whether it's past or present and future like that. So in the next slokas 30-31, they are saying that continuing their glorification, your control of everything, and the body, life, ego, sense, everything like of living entity are your own self, and you are the time factor. So in Bhagavad Gita also we hear that Krishna mentions that I am the time, destroyer of these worlds. Kalosmi loka kshayakrata. So this time is also very powerful. So in due course of time, people will come together and the same time will separate them also. And in Bhagavatam it is mentions that Ayuru Harati Vaipumsham. So as soon as we are born, the influence of the time starts. So for every sunrise and sunset, we are closer to one day to the death. So our life duration decreases one day. So that's why scripture stresses and acharyas stresses and advises us to utilize this time very cautiously in the process of Krishna consciousness. Tasyardayat kshano nita uttama sloka vartaya. Uttama sloka vartaya. So when we use this time in the process of Krishna consciousness, then it will uplift us and then we come closer to Krishna. Otherwise, it will destroy us and it will bring closer to the more miserable life like that. And they continue glorifying that you are the cause, material nature consisting of three modes: dispassion, goodness, ignorance. So you are the super soul. So like that, they are glorifying Krishna with many wonderful prayers. On the next sloka also we see that they are saying that you exist before creation, and the conditioned living entity in this material world are trapped by a body of material qualities. So how can we understand? So that's why Prabhupada mentions that Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriya. Like Krishna's name and form, qualities, pastimes, all these things are above these material qualities, transcendental, divyam. They exist before the creation. So since we are trapped with a body of which is influenced by these three modes, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, it's very difficult for us to understand with our material senses. So when will it be possible? When we engage these senses in the service of Krishna. Sevonmukhi jifadu swayam eva spurate adaha. So when we engage our senses in the process of Krishna consciousness, then we will be able to understand. So when we become a devotee, bhaktyamam abhijanati. So when we become a devotee, so then Krishna will reveal himself to the devotees. So until then, it is difficult for us to understand Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada stresses to take up this Krishna consciousness sincerely and seriously and rise above the three modes. Mistraigunya Bhavajna. Of course, I am talking to myself. The next sloka, you see that they are glorifying whose glories are covered by your own energy, and you are the origin of the creation, you are Vasudeva, you are the origin of Chaturvyuha, and you are everything. So we simply offer our respective obeisance unto you. So Prabhupada mentions that instead of trying to understand Krishna in detail, it's better we humbly offer our respectable obeisance unto him, because he is the origin of everything. He is everything. So we cannot understand with our little tiny brain or with our material senses because we are covered by these powerful three modes, Mama Maya Duratyaya, so with the modes of material nature. So that's why it's better we acknowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and is everything, and we simply offer our humble obeisances to Supreme Lord at His lotus feet. And then the next two slokas, so they are glorifying that Krishna appears in unlimited incarnation. Could be Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, or Varaha Avatara, Narasimha, like that. So many. And he performs many wonderful activities in those things. So whenever Krishna appears, so the purpose of Krishna appearing, Prabhupada quotes, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamiham. So whenever there is a decline in dharma, religion principles, then he will appear and he will protect them. So he will uplift it. So how he will uplift it? Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskrutanam. So he will protect the saintly personalities and annihilate the demons. Then dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge. So he will establish the dharma again. Of course, our acharyas mentions that more than that, Krishna performs these wonderful pastimes whenever he appears in this material world. Either it could be Matsya Avatar or other incarnations, especially Supreme Lord Krishna when he appeared 5000 years back, he performed many wonderful leelas. So which are when the conditioned living entities hears this, then they are attracted and then they will take up this process of Krishna consciousness and perfect their life. So they can go back home, back to Godhead. So here, Prabhupada mentions that so Krishna appears in many wonderful incarnations and perform all these activities, Janma, Karma, Chame, Divyam. So they are all transcendental. But especially in this incarnation, Krishna's incarnation, he appeared with full potency for benefit of the all living entities within this material world. So Prabhupada mentions that we see that in Krishna's pastimes, in the earlier chapter also we saw Krishna, how he exhibited his potencies, like killing Putana when he is a small baby, Sakatasura, Trinavrata, and showing the universal form within his mouth to Mother Yashoda. So now also we see that these two big trees, very very big trees, so he uprooted them while he was very small baby like that. So only unintelligent persons think that there are mythological or imaginations like that. Otherwise, so an intelligent persons will recognize these things and take the shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet like that. So in the next sloka, they are glorifying that you are supremely auspicious, Parama Kalyana. So whenever Krishna appears, he makes the things as Parama Kalyana. So how he makes as Kalyana? So he, by protecting the sadhus, Paritranaya sadhuna, so, and annihilating the demons, then he will make everything as auspicious. So he will give a relief to the saintly personalities. So that's why we see that in Krishna's pastimes, mostly he is engaged in killing these demons. So to protect the saintly personalities and bring the auspiciousness into their lives like that. So they are glorifying that you are the supreme good and you are the controller and descendant of the Edu dynasty, or most peaceful. So let us offer our humble obeisance at his lotus feet like that. So in the next sloka, so he is saying that we are always servants of your servants, especially Narada Muni. Now they are requesting permission to leave for their abode. This is very inspiring and very instructive, that a sadhaka should aspire to be servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. And that's what Mahaprabhu also identifies himself, that he is a Gopi Bhartur Padakamalyor Dasa 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 Anudasa. So he did not identify himself as a Brahmana or Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra or Brahmachari or Grostha, Vanaprastha Sannyasa, but saying that he is showing through his own example how a sadhaka should aspire or should develop their consciousness that should be servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. So when we serve the devotees, Mahat Sevam Dwaram Mahuri Mukti, then the doors of the liberations will be opened and we can go back home, back to Godhead. So then they are saying that by the grace of Narada Muni, they were able to see Krishna. Otherwise, it is not possible for a person who is puffed up with the material opulence. And in the next sloka, they are asking Krishna. They did not ask this time like they want wealth or name, fame or great beautiful body like that. They are asking that their all our words describe your pastimes. So they want to engage all their senses. Ears engage in oral reception of glories. Hands and legs, other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. So this should be our. We should make our activities also in such a way that all our bodily limbs would be in the engaging in service of the Supreme Lord and His devotees, like Maharaj Ambarish, Savayamana Krishna Padaravindo. So he engages his mind in meditating the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, or Vacham Sivaikunta Gunan Varnana, like to his mouth to glorify the Supreme Lord or his devotees, like that. So, like that, they are also requesting Supreme Lord Krishna to be like this, to see their, engage their eyes in the form of Vaishnavas. So, all these things will become ornaments to our different parts of our bodies. So, when we use our eyes to see the forms of Vaishnavas or Supreme Lord Krishna, then that becomes an ornament to, that's a real ornament to our eyes. So, not decorating something like that, but this is the perfect decoration. Vrishikena Vrishikesa Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. So, Prabhupada mentions that. So, this should be our motive. So, and this is what we see in the great devotees. So, following in their footsteps like Narada Muni, Swayambhu Manu, or Lord Shiva or Amrish Maharaj, we should try to align our activities in such a way that we engage all our senses in Krishna consciousness. Then Sukadeva Goswami continuing that, so when they offered these two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvera and Manigriva, when they offered these beautiful, wonderful prayers to the Supreme Lord, so Krishna, he was at that time he was still bound to this wooden mortar, so he was smiling widely and then speaking. And this is a beauty, like Acharyas explains each and every detail. So Prabhupada also mentions the significance of Krishna smiling widely. So he's smiling, he's thinking that Krishna is thinking that so these two young demigods, Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they fell from the higher planet system, and I have delivered, and they became the trees, and I have delivered them from the bondage or from the curse of the Narada Muni from these tree forms. But I am still bound by the ropes of the gopis and subject to their chastisement. So that's why Krishna is smiling. That of course he likes to be chastised by the gopis and are bound by their pure love. So that's why he is smiling widely here like that. So in the next sloka, Krishna is now speaking to these two demigods, sons of Kuvera, saying that great saint Narada Muni is very merciful. So here Krishna is revealing that, confirming that Narada Muni's curse is not a chastisement or punishment, it is his mercy. So by his curse only, he showed a great favor to you. So at that time they were mad after material opulence and became blind. So and they fell from the higher planet system. But now Narada Muni favored them. So due to that, they were able to see Krishna. And of course, Krishna knew all these incidents from the very beginning. So this is what we see, that when somebody becomes proud by their material opulences, then they will not be able to take up Krishna consciousness sincerely and seriously. That's what Mother Kunti also prays him, right? Janmaishwarya Shruti Shubir. Like, whether one is very rich with wealth or high education or bodily beauty, they cannot approach with sincere feelings to the Supreme Lord. And that's what Krishna also mentions here, that by the grace of Narada Muni, now you are able to see me face to face, like that. So he's confirming that Krishna, Narada Muni's curse is not a chastisement, punishment. It is a mercy of Narada Muni. So in the next sloka, we see that so when one comes face to face with sun, there is no longer darkness. So when one comes, similarly, when one comes to face with a sadhu, then they will be no longer subject to the material bondage. And Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Charitamrita saying that sadhu sanga sarva shastrakaya lavamatra sadhu sanga sarva siddhihaya. So when we take association of the devotees, even little bit moment of time, that will free us from the material bondage. So because sadhus are very compassionate, they'll inspire us to take up this Krishna consciousness and perfect our life. So in the next two slokas, we see that Nalakuvera and Manigriva is saying to both of them, saying that you can return home, and since your desire is to absorb in Krishna consciousness, so he is fulfilling that, and he is also assuring that they will never fall from that platform. So this is the highest perfection. Prabhupada says that this is the highest perfection of the life, that one should come to this platform of the Krishna Prema and always engage in Krishna's devotional activities. So understanding that Nalakuvera and Manigriva are desiring this, Krishna blessed them that they will be engaged in Krishna conscious activities all the time and will never fall down like that. And then Sukadeva Goswami saying that so Krishna spoke like this to these demigods, and then these two demigods circumambulated the Supreme Lord and offered their obeisances and took permission from Lord Krishna and returned to their respective homes. So similarly, if we can also be in the association of the devotees and serve the devotees and utilize our time and engage all our senses in the process of Krishna consciousness, then we can also make our human life successful and develop this Krishna Prema in this lifetime. So thank you all for giving this opportunity. I'll pause it here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya namo namo. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much.